Welcome, Detective. The Covert Detective Agency has assigned you an urgent case: the tragic death of Gabriel Voss in the shadow of the majestic Austrian Alps. As an experienced investigator, your task is to uncover the truth behind this mysterious fall. Was it murder, an accident, or something else entirely? Throughout this video, you will uncover at least 5 critical clues and encounter 3 red herrings which may mislead you. Your challenge is to separate fact from fiction, piece together the evidence, and solve the case. The fate of this investigation rests in your hands. Stay sharp and good luck. The snow-covered peaks of the Austrian Alps framed the Voss estate, a magnificent chalet that exuded wealth and refinement. Inside its walls, Gabriel Voss, a celebrated mountaineer, had cultivated an image of luxury and success. But the night before, that image shattered when Gabriel fell to his death from the balcony. His wife, Celeste, was arrested hours later, accused of pushing him during a heated argument. Ethan Voss, their son, refused to believe the accusation. Desperate to clear his mother's name, he contacted Archer Blake, the enigmatic owner of the Covert Detective Agency in Vienna. Blake, intrigued by the Voss family's secrets and tensions, arrived the following morning to uncover the truth. Ethan met Blake at the door, his pale face a stark contrast to the warm golden glow of the chalet's interior. The furnishing spoke of opulence: plush carpets, hand-carved woodwork, and crystal chandeliers. But tension hung in the air like a storm cloud. "Thank you for coming, Mr. Blake," Ethan said. "My mother didn't kill my father. They argued, yes, but she wouldn't have hurt him." Blake stepped inside, his sharp eyes taking in every detail. An unfinished glass of whiskey on the sideboard, expensive but unused mountaineering gear stacked by the door, and the heavy silence of a house in mourning. The authorities seemed convinced this was a domestic dispute gone wrong. "But you believe someone else had motive." Ethan nodded. "Victor Brandt, my father's investor, Hans, my best friend, and Ingrid Keller, my aunt. Each of them had reasons to resent my father." Blake raised an eyebrow. "Then let's start unraveling those reasons." Blake first spoke with Ingrid Keller, Celeste's sister and Gabriel's sister-in-law. "I wasn't inside much last night," Ingrid said, avoiding Blake's gaze. "After dinner, I went out to sketch the peaks. The snow and moonlight were striking. I wanted to capture them while I had the chance." Blake held up a torn leather glove. "This was found near the balcony. Yours, isn't it?" Ingrid flushed. "Yes, but I wasn't near the balcony. I must have dropped it earlier." Blake leaned closer. "You and Gabriel had a strained relationship, didn't you?" Her lips tightened. "He sabotaged my gallery opening 5 years ago. Said my work wasn't marketable. He ruined me and he knew it. I stayed here because Celeste needed me, not because I liked being around him." Blake next turned his attention to Victor Brandt, Gabriel's longtime investor. In Gabriel's study, he found unopened letters from banks, foreclosure notices, unpaid debts, and investment losses. Blake confronted Victor about the mounting financial strain. "Gabriel promised me a return on my investments," Victor said, his tone bitter. "He kept asking for more money for his expeditions, claiming the next one would put us both on the map. But it was all smoke and mirrors." "Did you argue with him last night?" Blake pressed. Victor's jaw tightened. "We had words, yes. I told him I couldn't fund another expedition. He accused me of betrayal, said I owed him." He paused. "But I left the room before the shouting started between him and Celeste." Blake noted the tension in Victor's voice. A man who felt cornered might lash out to protect his own future. When Blake inspected the balcony, he noticed faint scuff marks in the icy surface near the railing. He crouched down, running a gloved finger over the grooves. "These marks suggest Gabriel slipped and tried to catch himself," Blake murmured. "There's no sign of a struggle, no torn clothing or defensive wounds, just the desperate marks of someone losing their balance." In the snow beneath the balcony, Blake found a broken torch. Its cracked lens and scratched handle suggested it had been dropped hastily. "This would have lit the deck," Blake muttered. "Without it, navigating the icy surface at night would have been dangerous." When Blake questioned Ava, Gabriel and Celeste's headstrong daughter, she was defensive and evasive. "My father and I argued," she admitted. "He called me irresponsible, said I was a disgrace to the family name. Then he threatened to cut me off, for good this time." "And what did you do after dinner?" Blake asked. "I went to my room," she snapped. "I wasn't anywhere near the balcony when he fell." Blake noticed her trembling hands but didn't press further. Blake turned his attention to Hans, Ethan's best friend, who had spent years as a regular guest at the chalet. "You've been close to the family for years," Blake said. "Why didn't you step in when you heard the argument?" Hans shifted uncomfortably. "It wasn't my place. Gabriel never really accepted me. He always said I didn't belong here, that I was just a distraction to Ethan." Blake studied him. "And that didn't bother you?" Hans's jaw tightened. "Of course it did. Gabriel enjoyed making people feel small, but I wasn't near the balcony when he fell." Blake gathered Ethan, Ingrid, Victor, Ava, and Hans in the chalet's grand sitting room. "The authorities think this was a simple case of murder, a heated argument, a push, and a fall. But the truth is far more complicated," Blake began. He turned to Ava. "You argued with your father. You had a strong motive to kill him." Ava's face crumpled. Blake continued, "Hans, you resented Gabriel. You felt he never accepted you and made you feel unwelcome in his home. But I wonder if there isn't more to this that you are not telling?" Hans's shoulders tightened and his face turned to guilt. Blake turned to Ingrid and Victor. "Both of you had reasons to see Gabriel fall. Ingrid, you never forgave him for ruining your career. Victor, you were tired of his financial demands. You both had strong reasons and motives to kill Gabriel. Now that you've watched the video, you've encountered multiple clues and red herrings. But have you solved the mystery? If you need a final hint, don't worry. We've hidden one last crucial clue inside the song that's about to play. Listen closely to the lyrics, as they might hold the key to unlocking the truth."
Under the stars on a quiet night, Gabriel vanished, gone from sight. The balcony deck holds a story untold, with scuff marks etched in the moonlight's cold. A struggle, a secret, a shadow's play. Someone made sure he'd not see day. Now search the clues, both big and small, to solve the mystery of Gabriel's fall. Oh, who pushed Gabriel into the night? The clues are waiting, so get it right. A mark, a sound, a hidden key. The truth's out there for you to see. The scuff marks scream of a midnight fight, a struggle played out in the pale moonlight. The balcony deck holds secrets tight. A shadows danced and took their flight. No shattered glass, no muddy trail, just questions blowing in the evening gale. The answers lie in what we've missed, each clue a step to the final twist. Oh, who pushed Gabriel into the night? The clues are waiting, so get it right. A mark, a sound, a hidden key. The truth's out there for you to see. A bottle tipped by the balcony rail. The night holds secrets it won't unveil. Whispers linger in the chill night air, and scuff marks tell of a struggle there. Who was the one to take that stand and leave Gabriel with a deadly hand? A light breeze carries the scent of fear, while whispers linger for those who hear. The scuff marks point to a final plea, a desperate struggle we didn't see. Was it anger or fate that played its part? A cruel betrayal of a broken heart? Gabriel's gone, but his tale lives on in the clues we follow until the dawn. Oh, who pushed pushed Gabriel into the night. The clues are waiting, so get it right. A mark, a sound, a hidden key. The truth's out there for you to see. So sharpen your wits and trace the scene. Unravel the threads where they've all been. Each clue's a piece, each word a call. Who will solve Gabriel's fall? So sharpen your wits and trace the scene. Unravel the threads where they've all been. Each clue's a piece, each word a call. Who will solve Gabriel's fall?
These are the clues. The first clue is scuff marks on the balcony deck. On the icy wooden surface of the balcony, faint scuff marks were visible near the railing, almost imperceptible at first glance. These shallow, erratic grooves told a story of desperation, a moment of imbalance and frantic effort to regain control. Unlike the chaotic signs of a physical altercation, these marks aligned with the position where Gabriel fell. The scuff marks, silent witnesses to his final moments, were a vital piece of the puzzle, pointing to an unintentional fall rather than a deliberate act. The second clue is the broken torch. Buried in the snow beneath the balcony lay the broken torch, its cracked glass and scratched metal handle betraying its mishandling earlier in the evening. This torch was the sole light source for the deck, and without it, the area had plunged into darkness. Its absence set the stage for Gabriel's misstep. A critical detail, the broken torch explained why Gabriel, even as an experienced mountaineer, might misjudge his footing on the treacherous, icy surface. This clue was as much about what was missing, light, as it was about the object itself. The third clue is alcohol consumption. The whiskey bottle in Gabriel's study sat empty beside an unfinished glass. Its presence revealed more than just a habit. It illuminated Gabriel's state of mind and physical coordination on that fateful night. Ethan's testimony confirmed that his father had been drinking heavily after an argument, a telltale sign of emotional distress. The alcohol diminished his judgment and heightened the risk of an accident on the perilous balcony. This clue painted a picture of vulnerability, an essential layer to understanding the events that followed. The fourth clue is no signs of a struggle. The absence of struggle marks on Gabriel's body provided a stark counterpoint to the theory of foul play. No torn clothing, no bruises, no scratches. Nothing suggested that Gabriel had been pushed or fought back against someone. This lack of evidence of physical confrontation quietly but firmly ruled out murder. Instead, it allowed the other clues to rise in significance, weaving a narrative of solitude and misfortune. The fifth clue is witness testimony and timeline. Hans's recollection of the sliding glass door opening after the argument ended added a temporal layer to the investigation. The noise was brief and followed by silence. No shouting, no sounds of struggle, only the void of the night. Gabriel's wristwatch, frozen at 11:42 p.m., perfectly synchronized with Hans's account, creating a timeline that filled the gaps in the story. Together, these details placed Gabriel alone on the balcony in the minutes leading to his fall, reinforcing the notion of an accident. The sixth clue is weather and deck conditions. The balcony itself, coated in fresh snow and a layer of ice, was a hazard waiting to happen. The slippery surface, invisible in the absence of light, turned an ordinary walk into a dangerous gamble. For a man impaired by alcohol and upset by heated arguments, the deck was more than just a setting. It was an accomplice in his demise. The red herrings are, number one red herring is the torn glove. The torn glove, discovered near the balcony, seemed damning at first. Its presence implied proximity to the scene and perhaps involvement. Ingrid's strained relationship with Gabriel added fuel to the suspicion. Yet her story, corroborated by others, revealed that she had dropped the glove earlier in the evening while outside sketching the peaks. Though her resentment toward Gabriel was real, the glove's placement had no bearing on his fall. Number 2. Red herring is Victor's financial motive. Victor's bitter argument with Gabriel over failed investments gave him a strong motive for harm. Gabriel's financial mismanagement had pushed Victor to the brink of ruin, and his anger was palpable. But Victor had left the room long before Gabriel's argument with Celeste escalated. His motive, while compelling, was nothing more than a shadow in the larger picture. Number 3 red herring is Ava's heated argument. Ava's confrontation with her father at dinner, where Gabriel threatened to cut her off financially, painted her as an easy suspect. Her fiery personality and defensive demeanor only heightened suspicion. Yet Ava's alibi, her retreat to her room, remained unshaken. Her anger was real, but it never translated into action. In the end, she was a misdirection, not a culprit. Who really killed Gabriel and what really happened? Gabriel's death was not the result of malice or violence, but the culmination of tragic circumstances. Upset after his argument with Celeste, Gabriel retreated to the balcony to cool off. The broken torch left the deck shrouded in darkness, hiding the icy patches beneath the fresh snow. As Gabriel paced, the alcohol in his system dulled his senses and coordination. Near the railing, his foot slipped on the treacherous surface. The scuff marks bore silent testimony to his desperate attempt to catch himself, but momentum carried him over the edge. His fall was swift and silent, the wristwatch on his arm freezing its hands at 11:42 p.m., marking the exact moment his life came to an end. Alone in the darkness, surrounded only by the unyielding peaks, Gabriel's death was a tragic accident, a perfect storm of unfortunate events. Blake gestured to the scuff marks on the balcony. The faint marks show Gabriel slipped on the ice and tried to catch himself. Combined with the broken torch that left the deck in darkness and his heavy drinking, the evidence is clear. Gabriel's death was a tragic accident. With Blake's evidence, the authorities released Celeste, clearing her name. Ethan was heartbroken but relieved, though the fractures in the family remained. As Blake left the chalet, the wind howled over the peaks. The grandeur of the estate and the beauty of the mountains stood in stark contrast to the harsh truths they concealed. Adjusting his scarf, Blake turned toward the trail. Another case solved, another truth unearthed, but not all truths brought peace.